The day began like any other, the city alive with the hum of morning. Then, without warning, the earth itself rebelled. The ground split open, a jagged maw devouring everything in its path. Towers trembled, their foundations shattered. This was no ordinary quake, it was the beginning of the end. Chaos erupted as the city's heart was torn apart. People ran, but there was no escape. The streets became death traps, the air thick with dust and despair. The earth's fury was relentless, and humanity was at its mercy. The chasm grew, an insatiable beast consuming the city block by block. Then, the river answered the earth's call, its waters surging into the void. The streets became rivers, the floodwaters rising with terrifying speed. Amid the chaos, a lone figure clung to life, their grip slipping with every wave. But the flood was merciless, and the debris it carried struck like a hammer. The survivor vanished beneath the torrent, another victim of nature's wrath. The city was now a war zone of water and fire. The flood had drowned the streets, but the flames rose higher, fed by the broken bones of the city. The air was thick with smoke, the sky painted in shades of destruction. Firefighters battled the inferno, their efforts heroic but futile. The building groaned, its structure failing, and then it fell. The collapse sent embers soaring like fireflies, a beautiful yet deadly spectacle against the darkened sky. Dawn broke, but the city was no more. The smoke rose like a funeral pyre, the sun's light painting the ruins in shades of gold and sorrow. The earth had spoken, and its message was clear: nothing was permanent. In the ruins, a survivor clutched a photograph, the last remnant of their past. The wind tugged at it, and then it was gone, carried away like so many lives. The tears came then, unstoppable as the flood. The river, once a force of destruction, was now eerily calm. Its surface mirrored the ruins, a haunting tableau of what had been. A lone boat drifted, its passengers silent, their grief too deep for words. A makeshift memorial stood in the ruins, a testament to the lives lost. Candles flickered, their light fragile against the wind. Then, one by one, they went out, leaving only the flowers to sway in the breeze. On the outskirts, the first signs of rebirth emerged. Cranes lifted debris, their mechanical arms a promise of renewal. The work was slow, but it was a start, a defiance against the earth's cruelty. Just as hope flickered, the earth reminded them of its power. The seismograph needles spiked, then snapped, unable to measure the fury of the new quake. The disaster wasn't over. It was only beginning. The second quake tore through the ruins, new fissures splitting the earth like wounds. The city's skeleton crumbled further, its bones shattered beyond repair. The earth was reclaiming what was once its own. Survivors ran, but the earth was faster. The ground gave way beneath them, a sinkhole yawning open like a beast's maw. Their screams were cut short as they vanished into the darkness. Rescue workers faced the impossible, their courage tested with every collapse. One worker's face told the story: horror, determination, and finally, resignation. They turned away, unable to bear witness to another loss. Night fell again, and the fires returned with a vengeance. The flames merged, a single inferno consuming the ruins. The city burned brighter than ever, a funeral pyre for its own demise. Amid the ruins, a child sat alone, their stuffed animal the only comfort. Their eyes mirrored the distant flames, a silent witness to a world they couldn't understand. The innocence of youth, lost in the ashes. On the outskirts, the survivors watched as the flames advanced, a relentless predator. They were safe for now, but the fire was patient and the night was long. A radio crackled to life, a voice pleading for help. Then, silence. The signal was gone, another thread of hope severed. The world beyond the ruins seemed farther away than ever. Dawn broke once more, the fires finally spent. The ruins smoldered, their shadows stretching long in the morning light. The city was gone, but the earth was silent, for now. A lone survivor walked through the ruins, their footsteps the only sound. Then, they stopped. A photograph lay half buried in the ash, a face, a memory. The past was everywhere and nowhere. The photograph smiled up at them, a ghost of happiness. Then, the wind took it, as it had taken so much. The survivor stood alone, the weight of loss heavier than the ruins around them. The river was calm once more, its surface a mirror to the ruins. A bird flew overhead, its shadow fleeting. Life, in all its fragility, was beginning to return. In the ashes, a sapling pushed through, its green defiance a whisper of hope. It stood alone, but it stood tall. The earth had taken, but it would also give. On the outskirts, the work continued. A new foundation was laid, a promise etched in concrete. The road ahead was long, but the first step had been taken. A survivor knelt, their hands burying a sapling in the fresh soil. They stepped back, their face a canvas of sorrow and hope. The tree would grow, a living testament to resilience. The sun set over the ruins, painting them in gold. The shadows stretched, the day's end a quiet farewell. The city slept, its dreams buried beneath the ashes. The survivors stood at the edge of the ruins, their eyes reflecting the sunset. Then, they turned away, walking into the fading light. The past was behind them, the future uncertain, but they walked on.